How come you are leaving so suddenly? Alpha Edward asked while rushing to catch up to Caden and Maya, who were descending the stairs with a suitcase each. How am I supposed to know? Caden grumbled in the mind link for Maya to hear. Something unexpected happened and we need to leave, Maya lied with a straight face. Actually, it was not a lie. Neither Maya nor Caden knew what was going on, other than that Damon told them that they were leaving. Since they arrived at the Red Moon Pack, Damon's mood was all over the place. Caden and Maya lost count of how many times Damon told them that they were leaving, only to change his mind shortly after that. However, they never reached the point of actually packing their things, so Caden and Maya believe that this is it, and they will finally return home and find some sense of normalcy. Earlier that morning, Damon woke them up through the mind link with instructions that Caden should park the car on the side of the pack house, pack their things, Damon's included, tell Alpha Edward that they are leaving, and meet with Damon outside, in that order. Damon also included a clause about how all that needs to be completed within 15 minutes. Maya and Caden agreed that Damon finally lost his marbles, but they were happy to return home with the hope that Damon's mood would stabilize because everything crazy started since they arrived at the Red Moon Pack. Just as Caden and Maya reached the main door with Alpha Edward hot on their tails, Marcy dashed out of her room while pulling a robe over her nightgown. Her father told her to get downstairs as soon as possible, so she didn't have time to dress up. Damon waited for them outside, leaning on the car that was now in front of the pack house. Just as Caden was going to the trunk to keep the suitcases, Damon told him through their mind link, keep the suitcases in the back seat and start the car. Caden did as he was told without objections. He would never question Damon in front of outsiders. Damon turned to Alpha Edward. Something came up and we need to return to our pack. What about finalizing the marriage agreement between you and Marcy? Alpha Edward addressed the point that was important for him. Damon glanced at Marcy, who looked at him anxiously while clutching her robe. Agreeing to a marriage with Marcy was out of the question. But Damon knew that if he said that, hell would break loose, and he would need to do damage control. Damon wanted to leave this place as soon as possible. However, leaving without an explanation might cause problems as well. Luckily, he thought about this, and his farewell speech was ready. Alpha Edward, Damon spoke solemnly. Marriage is a commitment for life. We shouldn't decide after only a day or two. Miss Marcy and I met, and now we should take some time to think about our interactions, expectations, and decide how we will proceed from here. No matter how eager we are to conclude this matter, a successful Alpha and Luna should know that some things can't be rushed. Alpha Edward wanted to object, but what should he say? That he wanted to rush his only daughter into marrying a guy she'd just met 2 days ago? This was a nightmare. Without anything good to say at that time that would solidify the marriage between Marcy and Damon, Alpha Edward responded with a stiff nod. Damon raised his hand, giving a sharp wave before going to the back seat, next to the suitcases. Drive, Damon told Caden as soon as he closed the door behind him. Are we finally leaving? Caden asked while driving down the driveway. Get us out of here! Did you pack all my stuff? Caden nodded. Caden and Maya were glad to leave as well, so they didn't question Damon's abrupt decision to pack and head out. They only feared that he would change his mind again and ask them to go back. Back at the Red Moon Pack, in Alpha Edward's study. Are you sure that nothing happened? You didn't offend him? Alpha Edward asked Marcy, who looked at him helplessly. There was no way Marcy would admit that on the previous day, Damon told her to strip and he touched her. And she said outrageous things while he recorded it only to leave her hanging. It's not that the scene itself was an issue. After all, werewolves are promiscuous by nature, and Damon and Marcy were to be married. Kinky games among couples were common. However, Damon barely acknowledging her existence after that was a problem, a big one. And Damon said that she needed to earn any further intimacy. What the hell was that supposed to mean? I told you, Daddy. After dinner, he said that he was tired, and he went to his room. He doesn't like to be disturbed, so I waited in the lounge on the first floor in case he came out, but he didn't, so I went to sleep. The next thing I know, you woke me up through the mind blink in order to come out because he was leaving. It must be that something happened in the Dark Howler's pack during the night. Alpha Edward exhaled in frustration. No matter how he looked at it, Damon escaped. He had issues bringing him here the first time, and getting him here a second time would be even more challenging. He wanted to scold Marcy for incompetence, but it seemed that she didn't do anything to offend Alpha Damon, so he swallowed it down. I want you to stay in touch with Alpha Damon. He left, but the two of you are officially in a relationship. Act like a girlfriend. Text him, call him, make sure he doesn't forget about you. And if he finds a way to get out of this marriage, it will be on you. Do you understand? Marcy nodded. If marriage between her and Damon didn't happen, she would be punished. She thought that this was it, but then Alpha Edward raised his index finger. 1 week. For? Marcy asked reluctantly. If in 1 week there is no progress, you will go to the Dark Howler's pack and don't you dare return without a wedding date. If you do your moves right, you won't return at all. But we will come for the Luna ceremony. Yes, Father, Marcy responded, and she didn't hesitate when Alpha Edward waved that she could leave. Marcy faked confidence in front of her father, but now that she was on her own, Marcy was deflated. If Damon ignored her in person, how was she supposed to get his attention long distance? 1 week was too short. Did she really need to go to the Dark Howler's pack in order to seduce him? She had the home territory advantage and failed. Trying something at the Dark Howler's pack will only make it more difficult. Marcy wondered if she offended Damon somehow. He seemed interested, but then he wasn't. That evening, when she went to his room, Marcy was confident that Damon wanted them to roll in the sheets. Yet she made a mistake and hesitated. The next morning, he told her that she needed to earn it. Marcy concluded that she probably hurt his ego. No woman rejected Alpha Damon, and even though she wanted to do some things, in a way, she rejected him. Marcy remembered that steamy session. His kiss was domineering, and his hands moved skillfully. He definitely knew what he was doing, and the way he ripped her panties, it was hot. Panties! Marcy dashed into the guest bedroom that Damon used. She needed to retrieve her panties before some Omega saw them. She was already seeing pleasure in him, and she didn't want those blasted servants to have more gossip material. Marcy checked the floor, and she didn't see her panties. Did Damon discard them? She checked the trash can in the bathroom. Maybe he took them with him? No, he couldn't keep a reminder of rejection. Where were they? Marcy got on her knees and looked down, and her eyes lit up when she saw a bunched small fabric under the bed. Bingo! Wait a minute. Why were there two? Marcy recognized one as hers, but what about this other one? Reluctantly, Marcy sniffed the unknown panties, and her face turned ugly upon realizing whose it was. Nora.
Wait, that's not the end. You've just had a free taste. Now get the full story on the Pocket FM app, link in description. Check out our next video and playlist, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.